It starts with the willingness to pause, reflect, and acknowledge your current reality without judgment. This honest confrontation is the foundation upon which lasting change is built. With each step toward truth, the fog of confusion and fear begins to lift, revealing possibilities that were once obscured by denial. This is no simple task. Denial is a comfortable refuge shielding us from the discomfort of facing our failures, fears, and regrets. However, the longer we linger in avoidance, the more entrenched our suffering becomes. Acknowledging the truth, even when it cuts deep, is the cornerstone of meaningful change. In accepting where you are, you open the door to possibility. The cracks in your life are not signs of weakness, but openings through which light can enter. By bravely assessing your relationships, career, health, and personal habits, you begin to see not just what is broken, but what can be reimagined and rebuilt. This act of self-examination, though uncomfortable, ignites the first spark of renewal. Your willingness to face the present moment without illusion or pretense marks the beginning of a path toward personal freedom and reinvention. From the ashes of uncertainty can rise a life of deeper fulfillment and authenticity. Radical honesty forms the bedrock of reconstructing a meaningful life. It calls for the dismantling of illusions and false narratives that have been erected as shields against discomfort and pain. These protective layers may have once served as coping mechanisms, but over time, they can become barriers to growth and transformation. To break free from these self-imposed limits, one must summon the courage to confront reality head-on. This process is rarely easy. Often it stirs deep emotional turbulence. Feelings of vulnerability, fear, or regret may surface as the layers of denial are peeled away. Yet this discomfort is a necessary catalyst for change. Only by standing firm in the face of truth can you discern the aspects of your life that require transformation. Denial may offer fleeting relief, creating an illusion of stability, but it is a precarious state that ultimately traps you in cycles of avoidance and stagnation. The longer you cling to denial, the more difficult it becomes to recognize the opportunities for growth hidden within your struggles. Acknowledging this reality empowers you to reclaim control over your life's trajectory. This journey of radical honesty begins with introspection. Set aside time for reflection, away from distractions, and ask yourself penetrating questions. What parts of my life feel misaligned? What am I avoiding and why? Writing down your reflections can help bring clarity, transforming abstract thoughts into actionable insights. Moreover, radical honesty is not just about recognizing external circumstances, but also about taking responsibility for your role in shaping them. This doesn't mean succumbing to self-blame. Rather, it involves acknowledging that while external forces can influence outcomes, your responses and decisions play a pivotal role. By owning your choices, you shift from being a passive recipient of life's events to an active architect of your future. Each step toward honesty, no matter how small, chips away at the barriers holding you back, paving the way for a life rebuilt with purpose and authenticity. The first step toward radical honesty is acknowledging that life often falls short of expectations, even if pretending otherwise feels more convenient. This admission can be challenging, as it forces us to confront uncomfortable truths that we might prefer to ignore. However, avoiding reality only prolongs dissatisfaction and keeps us anchored in cycles of complacency. True growth begins when we embrace the courage to face our current situation without embellishment or excuses. Being honest with oneself requires deep introspection, a process that demands quiet, undisturbed moments away from the distractions of daily life. Carving out time for self-reflection is essential. This means stepping away from social media, obligations, and external noise to reconnect with your inner voice. In these moments of solitude, you gain the clarity necessary to evaluate your life's trajectory. Each area, relationships, career, health, personal habits, should come under scrutiny. Ask yourself, am I genuinely fulfilled by the relationships I maintain, or do I cling to certain connections out of guilt, habit, or fear of loneliness? Reflect on your career. Does my work align with my values and aspirations, or am I simply going through the motions for financial security or societal approval? Examine your health and lifestyle. Do my routines promote well-being, or am I neglecting my physical and mental health in the pursuit of short-term comfort? These questions, though simple, often lead to profound revelations. They shine a light on the misalignments between your current reality and the life you aspire to live. Writing down your reflections can serve as a tangible way to organize your thoughts, making it easier to identify patterns and areas that require change. This written record becomes a roadmap guiding you toward a more authentic and fulfilling existence. Acknowledging misalignment is not a sign of failure, but an opportunity for redirection. It signals that adjustments are necessary to realign with your true self. The goal is not to judge or criticize, but to foster awareness and empowerment. Through this process, you reclaim authority over your decisions and reaffirm your commitment to living with integrity and purpose. Radical honesty also means taking full responsibility for your choices and their outcomes. While external factors can undeniably influence the course of your life, placing sole blame on circumstances or others diminishes your personal power. This mindset creates a false narrative of helplessness where progress seems contingent upon forces beyond your control. True empowerment begins with the recognition that although external events may shape your path, your responses and decisions ultimately determine the direction you take. Accepting responsibility requires courage. It can be uncomfortable to admit that certain hardships are, at least in part, the result of decisions you made, whether they were conscious or unconscious. This level of honesty calls for humility and self-awareness, traits that are often overshadowed by pride or fear of failure. However, avoiding this reality only reinforces stagnation and deepens dissatisfaction. By contrast, owning your actions shifts your perspective from that of a passive bystander to an active participant in shaping your future. Begin by reflecting on the pivotal moments that have led to your current situation. Ask yourself, which decisions, large or small, have contributed to where I stand today? Were there warning signs I ignored? Did I allow fear, insecurity, or the influence of others to steer me away from my goals? This exercise isn't meant to induce guilt, but to foster awareness. Recognizing the link between your choices and your reality allows you to break free from destructive patterns and adopt healthier, more constructive ones moving forward. Taking responsibility extends beyond personal choices to how you perceive setbacks and challenges. When difficulties arise, it's easy to attribute failure to luck, unfair circumstances, or the actions of others. While external forces may play a role, adopting a victim mentality strips you of the chance to learn and grow from adversity. Instead, reframing challenges as opportunities for growth transforms obstacles into valuable lessons. Each setback becomes a stepping stone that propels you closer to your aspirations. Moreover, responsibility nurtures resilience. When you accept ownership of your life, you develop a sense of agency and confidence in your ability to influence outcomes. This resilience fuels perseverance, allowing you to approach future challenges with a proactive mindset rather than retreating at the first sign of difficulty. Accepting responsibility is an act of self-liberation. It grants you the freedom to course correct, make intentional decisions, and rebuild your life on a foundation of authenticity and accountability. By stepping into this role, you reclaim the power to shape your destiny and cultivate a future aligned with your values and vision. Be honest with your emotions. Too often, we suppress feelings of anger, sadness, or fear because they are uncomfortable or inconvenient. This tendency to bury difficult emotions creates a false sense of stability, but it ultimately deprives us of valuable insights and personal growth. Every emotion, no matter how painful, carries important lessons about our inner world. Ignoring or dismissing these feelings robs us of the chance to understand the root causes behind them and prevents us from addressing the issues that perpetuate them. Emotional honesty begins with allowing these feelings to surface. Instead of instinctively pushing them aside, take a moment to sit with them. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What triggered this emotion? And what is it trying to reveal to me? Often, negative emotions highlight unmet needs, unresolved conflicts, or deeply held beliefs that no longer serve us. By acknowledging these signals rather than silencing them, you gain a clearer understanding of the patterns that may be holding you back. Suppressing emotions doesn't eliminate them. It only delays their inevitable emergence, often in more harmful or disruptive ways. Repressed anger can manifest as passive aggressiveness, while unaddressed sadness may evolve into chronic dissatisfaction or burnout. Recognizing and processing emotions as they arise prevents these long-term consequences, fostering emotional resilience and clarity. Moreover, emotional awareness enhances self-compassion. When you permit yourself to experience emotions fully, you cultivate a deeper connection to your authentic self. This process allows for healing and growth, reinforcing the understanding that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a path to strength. Journaling, meditation, or open conversations with trusted confidants can facilitate this exploration, offering constructive outlets for emotional expression. Embracing emotional honesty also improves relationships. When you understand your emotional landscape, you communicate more transparently and empathetically with others. This openness fosters deeper connections and reduces misunderstandings, allowing for healthier, more supportive interactions. Being truthful about your emotions liberates you from the weight of denial and repression. It empowers you to confront life's challenges with greater self-awareness and confidence. By listening to your emotions, you transform them from obstacles into guides, illuminating the path toward personal fulfillment and lasting well-being. Radical honesty also requires evaluating the relationships in your life with clarity and courage. Relationships, whether personal or professional, significantly shape your emotional well-being and sense of fulfillment. However, not all connections are beneficial or aligned with your growth. Some relationships may drain your energy, hinder your progress, or create emotional burdens that prevent you from moving forward. These dynamics can stem from various factors: unresolved conflicts, mismatched values, or obligations rooted in guilt and fear. To truly rebuild your life, it's essential to reflect on the role each relationship plays. Ask yourself, do I feel uplifted and supported by this person? Or do I leave interactions feeling depleted and anxious? Does this relationship encourage my growth, or does it hold me back from pursuing my goals and potential? Recognizing these dynamics is the first step toward establishing boundaries that protect your mental and emotional space. Letting go of relationships that no longer serve your highest good is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of self-preservation and respect. Continuing to invest in connections out of guilt, obligation, or fear of confrontation can lead to resentment and stagnation. It is important to acknowledge that people grow and change, and not every relationship is meant to last forever. Accepting this reality allows you to release attachments that inhibit your progress and open yourself to new, more aligned connections. However, this process is rarely easy. Ending or redefining relationships often triggers feelings of sadness, uncertainty, or guilt. Facing this discomfort head-on is part of the growth journey. Honest conversations, though difficult, create space for mutual understanding and respect. In some cases, addressing underlying issues can strengthen the relationship rather than sever it. Clear communication about your needs and boundaries fosters healthier, more sustainable bonds. Additionally, evaluating relationships involves reflecting on your own role. Consider whether you have contributed to toxic patterns through avoidance, lack of communication, or unmet expectations. Taking responsibility for your part allows for deeper healing and more meaningful interactions moving forward. By curating the relationships in your life with honesty and intention, you create an environment that nurtures growth, joy, and personal transformation. Surrounding yourself with individuals who uplift, inspire, and challenge you to evolve leads to a more authentic, fulfilling existence. Evaluating your daily habits with radical honesty is just as crucial as reflecting on your emotions and relationships. The small, repetitive actions that make up your daily routine quietly shape the trajectory of your life. Often we overlook these patterns, dismissing them as insignificant or harmless. However, over time, these habits accumulate, exerting a powerful influence on our mental, physical, and emotional well-being. Recognizing and addressing the habits that contribute to your current situation is the foundation for meaningful change. Begin by identifying the behaviors that consistently undermine your goals. Ask yourself, which habits leave me feeling unproductive, dissatisfied, or disconnected from my aspirations? Procrastination, overspending, poor dietary choices, and neglecting physical health are common patterns that can slowly erode progress. These behaviors may provide short-term comfort, but often come at the expense of long-term growth and fulfillment. The difficulty lies in acknowledging these habits without resorting to self-criticism or guilt. The goal is not to judge yourself harshly, but to cultivate awareness and accountability. Tracking your daily routines can be an eye-opening exercise. Keep a journal for a week, documenting how you spend your time and how each activity makes you feel. Patterns will begin to emerge, revealing areas where your habits align or clash with your goals. For example, if you consistently delay important tasks until the last minute, it may signal deeper issues such as fear of failure or lack of confidence. Addressing the root cause behind these behaviors allows for more effective, lasting change. Once identified, take proactive steps to replace detrimental habits with constructive ones. Start small. Lasting transformation rarely happens overnight. If neglecting self-care is a recurring issue, commit to dedicating 15 minutes each day to an activity that nurtures your well-being, such as exercise, reading, or meditation. Over time, these small adjustments accumulate, reinforcing a sense of accomplishment and momentum. Equally important is recognizing triggers that reinforce negative habits. Stress, fatigue, and emotional discomfort often drive us toward unproductive patterns as a form of escapism. Developing healthier coping mechanisms, such as mindful breathing or engaging in creative outlets, equips you to respond to these triggers more effectively. Cultivating intentional habits is a transformative process that empowers you to take control of your life. By aligning your daily actions with your broader aspirations, you lay the groundwork for lasting fulfillment and personal growth. A difficult truth to accept is that meaningful change requires time, patience, and consistent effort. In an age driven by instant gratification and quick fixes, the idea of long-term commitment can feel daunting or even discouraging. Many people hope for immediate solutions to complex problems, believing that transformation should happen swiftly and without much resistance. However, true, lasting change is rarely instantaneous. It is a gradual process that demands persistence, resilience, and the willingness to confront setbacks along the way. Radical honesty involves embracing this reality, understanding that the journey toward self-improvement will not be linear or free of obstacles. The desire for quick results can lead to frustration, especially when progress appears slow or invisible. This impatience often causes people to abandon their goals prematurely, interpreting initial difficulties as signs of failure rather than natural parts of the growth process. Acknowledging that setbacks and mistakes are inevitable allows you to shift your perspective, viewing them as opportunities to learn and refine your approach. Consider the analogy of planting a seed. Growth does not occur the moment the seed is buried beneath the soil. It takes time for roots to develop, unseen beneath the surface before any visible sprout emerges. The same is true for personal transformation. The work you put in today, whether through introspection, changing habits, or developing new skills, may not yield immediate results. But with continued care and attention, growth eventually becomes evident, leading to stronger, more enduring progress. Patience does not mean passivity. It is about remaining actively engaged in the process, even when the results are not yet tangible. Small, incremental steps accumulate over time, gradually building momentum. The key is to set realistic expectations and celebrate minor victories along the way. Recognizing progress, no matter how small, reinforces your commitment and fosters motivation to keep moving forward. Moreover, long-term commitment fosters resilience. Each challenge you face strengthens your ability to persevere in the face of future adversity. By accepting that failure and difficulty are part of the process, you cultivate a mindset of growth rather than defeat. This mental shift is crucial for sustaining change and avoiding the cycle of starting over repeatedly. The willingness to commit to long-term effort reflects a deep respect for your personal journey. It signifies that you value growth enough to invest in it fully, understanding that the most profound transformations often arise not from fleeting success, but from steadfast dedication over time. The process of radical honesty and personal transformation is not a one-time event, but an ongoing practice that must be cultivated continuously. True growth requires consistent self-reflection and the willingness to regularly reassess your goals, values, and the direction your life is taking. This journey is not linear, nor does it reach a finite endpoint. It is a cycle of evaluation, adjustment, and renewed commitment. Forming the habit of introspection means developing a mindset of curiosity and openness toward yourself. It involves periodically stepping back from the hustle of daily life to ask fundamental questions. Am I being honest about what I truly desire? Are the actions I am taking aligned with my long-term goals? These questions serve as internal checkpoints, helping to ensure that you remain on a path that reflects your authentic aspirations rather than drifting unconsciously into patterns dictated by external expectations or short-term comfort. Maintaining this habit requires discipline, but it also fosters a deeper connection to your inner self. The more frequently you engage in honest self-assessment, the easier it becomes to recognize misalignments before they escalate. This proactive approach minimizes the risk of reaching a point of crisis, where major aspects of your life feel disconnected or unfulfilling. Instead, regular reflection allows for small, incremental adjustments that keep you aligned with your evolving values and ambitions. Over time, this practice builds resilience and self-awareness. It cultivates the understanding that personal growth is a fluid process, and it encourages you to embrace change rather than resist it. By developing the habit of questioning your progress and direction, you empower yourself to navigate life's uncertainties with greater clarity and confidence. Radical honesty becomes more than just a method for self-improvement. It transforms into a guiding principle that shapes how you engage with the world. By consistently checking in with yourself and reaffirming your commitment to growth, you lay the foundation for a life that is not only successful by external standards, but deeply fulfilling and true to your core identity. Radical honesty is ultimately the gateway to freedom. When you strip away falsehoods and illusions, choosing to face life as it truly is, you liberate yourself from the heavy burden of denial and avoidance. This process of unveiling reality, though uncomfortable, is profoundly transformative. In confronting the unembellished truth, you reclaim control over your narrative and cultivate a life grounded in clarity and purpose. The weight of pretending, of holding on to roles, stories, or identities that no longer serve you, dissolves, allowing for authentic and meaningful change to take root. Freedom through honesty is not about perfection. It does not demand that you have all the answers or that your journey unfolds without error. Rather, it invites you to embrace imperfection, to recognize that growth flourishes in the soil of vulnerability and self-awareness. The courage to acknowledge both your strengths and limitations becomes the catalyst for genuine transformation. It is this clarity, born from self-reflection and radical acceptance, that empowers you to make choices aligned with your deepest values and aspirations. The path of rebuilding your life begins not with grand gestures, but with the simple, courageous act of facing yourself in the mirror.